Cheers.
Hello and welcome everybody to the BAMS cast, the BAMS community. Open it up. People are in. Trade deadline recap. We had buyers, we had sellers, we had dudes that sold, then bought and sold again. We had it all, and this comes with the trade deadline and a week where everybody on the cusp or in the mix of the playoffs, in the middle of this league, nobody wants it. Just a bunch of loser soy boys. Nobody taking home dubs of any significance this week. Like nothing even happened. I'll throw it out to the commish. We got Shay here as well. Ford on mute and not on video. Might not even hear from him. He might just be a black box with the name.
Weird flex.
Intact. How we doing?
Weird flex from the league leader. No face, no comments or anything. We'll see if he's got anything planned. But yeah, happy post trade deadline. I hope everyone didn't stress out too much. Shay, I know you had a little bit of a stressful week last week. Happy Black Wednesday. Yeah, work is done for the week, hopefully, for the most part. I got my what do we got here? We got a Bourbon County. It's bourbon barrels with mulberries, boysenberries, and Marion berries. So I always have to let the crowds know what I'm drinking. To be frankly honest, it kind of stinks, and that's why I'm drinking it, to get rid of it. But
I was gonna say we might need Polanka to give us jam rankings on those three berries.
It's true. Too bad that I didn't think of that. Anyway, I need a hat. I don't have the hats to fit my team this week, but Michael Pentatonics, holiday superstar, had a nice week last week, and so we're gonna rock the Washington hat, mainly because look how dope this hat is. It's got that.
That's a very nice hat.
So anyway, who knows? Maybe future bear. Maybe that's what I'm rocking it. That's a debate. Anyway, let's get into some fantasy football. Tim, we were going to talk a lot about the recaps. I know you want to talk about it. You texted me Monday. You said we got to address what happened this week as far as the matchups. Let's sum it up. What do you got?
Oh, I mean, I'll pull up the matchups. I didn't have them up right now, but basically it's anybody that has firmly solidified their space in the playoffs, they're doing fine. Everybody that's sold and has teams that they've given up on, they're doing fine. Anybody that needed a win this week, which includes you, both Rins, I think, I'm trying to think of, and the squeezes. Let me get these matchups up, but you can tell me about your matchup.
Yeah. I needed a win. I've needed a win for over a month. I have not found that win. However, I still found myself in the playoff push because I had a nice little run before that. But yeah, I lost again. I put up a measly, no offense to you, but Hardo-esque one with 107 points. That's kind of when I see those points, that's what I get. But yeah, you had Diesel guys who not only needed a win, but he also needed a respectable day to beat new old guy, Nags, for the Survivor. He put up 88 points, lost that. Nogs, $50 Survivor. Then you had...
Congrats to Nogs. Or congrats to
Nogs. Yeah.
Wait. Yeah?
Yep.
Congrats to Nogs.
Yeah. Baloney Squeeze, lost. 5 points to the Hammocks. Fiona, lost. He got smoked by Ford, who's kind of here, I guess. Ford got another $50. He is at the very minimum is $250 coming to him. It's just bananas.
And while you're getting that door, now that I have it up, that helps a lot. It's really the number 4 spot, the number 5 spot, the number 6 spot, the number 8 spot. And that's what happened. It's that we have Diesel guys who have been the team of, hey, our record isn't quite there, but we have the horses. We have second half horses. We're going to buy Josh Jacobs. We're going to make a push. And to run into Shaysky, still in the 12th spot, who puts up a nice 110 over the Diesel guys. So it's just like, go hit me, Shay.
You know it.
And so it's like,
okay, give us a quick rundown of the matchup. I don't know if you're looking at it, but you had Baker at 11. Your big points, you had James
Singletary was the pickup of the week, clearly. 19, maybe.
Ooh, he
19?
was.
19.6.
And I honestly
Singletary.
think that Pierce might be done as the number 1 out there.
Mm-hmm.
It was a story for Shea of running backs. That was death by a million running backs. For
Mixon
Diesel
shows
guys.
up after the debacle.
So, it's James Cook with 18, Joe Mixon with 20, and then Singletary with 19.6. So it's all running back stuff. And then Cortland Sutton, who has his requisite prayer toe tap jump ball every week. So I mean, it was mostly the running backs for Shasey that put it up, and then with the Diesel guys, we said that a lot hinged on this back half of the Bengals catapulting back to Bengals form, and that the opposite is happening with Joe Burrow going down, Jamar Chase being tied to that production there. Calvin Ridley back in the mix. He was the pretty much sole highlight for the Diesel guys, 88 points for Diesel guys, and you have Shasky triumphing there. But that was the thing, was just we were waiting for Diesel guys. They have the horses, they're gonna go. And almost a little Puka-ish last week, where it's like, we just need some momentum, we just need one dub. Don't get it. Diesel guys, despite still scoring 1 million points this year, are in the 6th spot and in peril of not making the playoffs despite having a good team. So bad time for a loss to number 12 Shasky.
I have a feeling of solidarity with Diesel guys, so I'm going to make a comment. If you look at the spreadsheet that I'll bring up in a little bit, Diesel guys has 1252.23 and I have 1252.25. We have the same amount of points on the season, so I feel the pain. That was a crazy week by him. He needed 28 points for Ridley to hit the mid 80s. Good news is it's kind of like a rock bottom situation. I've been there, and I love the matchup this week. If you look ahead, week 12, he's playing Ford, and he's got Dak going on Halloween. Thanksgiving, Ridley coming back, Kyron Williams back in the lineup. I like it.
And then Kyron Williams coming back after the Rams just punting Darrell Henderson off the team again. They just use and abuse that man.
Yeah.
So that does give you signs that Kyron Williams is going to be making his comeback. Justin Jefferson, however, on the Diesel guys, having some choice words for fantasy owners, just saying like, I don't care whatsoever about you wanting me back on the field. So that is a little bit of a boner killer for the Diesel guys. But the Kyron comeback should be exactly what he needs at the right time, because going up against Ford this week it's not death nail time, but the guy needs a win. And that's not what you're asking for, is going up against the highest scoring team in the league. So it'll be a big week for Diesel guys. So we'll go back and I'll try to go 30 seconds on these like summaries here, but it's like Diesel guys, we ran through that. Fiana, who was 7th, now drops to 8th and really is starting to look like they're on the outside looking in here. We knew that there was a tall order against the Hotspurs, so Hotspurs put up 145. Nothing new, so they trounced Fiana. Puka is the only team in the middle of the league that actually had themselves a nice week. 124, they get the win. They leapfrog from 8 up to 7, where Fiana was previously hosting there. So Puka continues to just still be there, 7th spot, still have a shot.
His record is 5-6. He's got the same record as me in 5th place. It's that I think he's in such a funny position. He's sold off, and now the way everything works out is his record is a playoff spot right now.
He makes hosting the BAMS cast difficult, because I have so many things dancing in my head of the bad things that have happened to him, and the like how much he's sold already, and him like hitting a point of wanting to buy one of my players, then being like, can't do it, I'm going to sell. Then he sells and he buys. And it's just hard for me to be like, what's his actual playoff outlook? And to your point, Zintac, like his playoff outlook's decent. Like he's still in a very good spot. So
yeah,
that's the Puka there. And then Kamish, we've detailed some of the things that are happening there. Derek's red team, the number 2 squad. I would love to, like, if we plotted their scores on a line, I feel like they just score 125 every single week. It's just a solid team. They make you play. And if you don't show up with your A game, you're going down. So that's that for the commissioner. And then finally, the baloney squeezes, luck runs out for a little stretch here. They put up 92, which on most weeks 92 for the Bologna Squeezes gets them the W. But Marianne's Hammocks, now number 9, they put up 97, and Squeezes still in the 4 spot, but they got to find some points, man. Goodness gracious. They're still they made the buys through some of the trades here and took a couple of my good players, and we're still seeing a lot of similar performances from that team. So they're in the 4 spot. They're still sitting pretty, but can't get too lax with 3 weeks to go here.
Did you say wait, first of all, can you see the screen I shared?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. You guys got a good look. Did you say something about putting scores on a line? Oh, here they are. You can see Ford. It's actually kind of interesting. It's not the best look, so I won't stay on this long, but you see how Ford is just blown everyone away. And then you have this other 4. Obviously, that's your Nog, Derek, myself, who's faltering, and Diesel guys who have the same exact scores right now. That's like your second bunch, and then you got the third bunch. And then of course you got TGBs and Shasky underneath who've just been kind of battling out too.
I love that I could pick myself out without having to look at the legend. That pink line in the middle that begins diving. That's what we.
I think my line's too high, honestly.
I don't think there's any errors in these spreadsheets. Okay, I didn't want to go on this, but you mentioned lines, so I'm gonna go through the spreadsheet really quick, and we got trades to talk about. So interrupt me if there was something else that you wanted to hit.
Go.
But we're gonna we're gonna hit where we're at here. So we got the Spurs in week 11, another $50, $250. Hey, Survivor, Nogs, we already said it, but another $50, and they're up to 100 on the year. Hardo, you have a 34 lead in the unlucky points, so that's going to be interesting. I've entered the conversation there too. 43 back.
What's the significance of unlucky? Is it just tracked for fun?
No, you get
50
money.
bucks.
$50.
There we go. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man,
It's up here.
opponents.
It's up here in the upper left quadrant of the spreadsheet. So, you guys want to talk trades?
We do.
Okay. Shay, how many trades did you make?
1.
I got just the one. Yeah, you did.
Well, actually, I just gave Jade Cortland for Dotson.
Okay. So I have this as a recap. Can you see this pretty good? Is this helpful? Okay. Somehow, Tim and everyone, I don't know how often you pay attention to these shit, but my approach to the trades where I didn't want to do anything because I had a good team and I tried to hold out. It turns out I'm in the worst position for the draft next year after my trade.
What a surprise! Like this was the entire trade season was it's a flourish of activity, and then Zintak is holding steady. He's just sitting on his hand, and he's just not revealing anything. He's gonna wait this one out, stay patient, and then next thing you know, here we go, run into it.
My bench took a nosedive. Jacoby Myers, Chris Godwin, worthless. They probably would have been dropped if I didn't trade them. So yeah, this is the sheet. You can see Tim, you loaded up. Growley, T-Rin, Russell was the one quiet participant this year, but yeah, a pretty consistent trade season. If you look over here, I got how many picks in the top 7, what your average draft round is. So Hardo, your average draft round 507. You're number 1 coming into the draft next year. You, T Gang Bang, and the Grolls, and we'll throw Shasky in there too at number 7 at the average draft round of 7. You've all improved yourselves, and yeah, it's kind of just like we would thought. Ford, Nog, Diesel, me, and Derek are at the bottom because we're fighting, we're up there. So wanted to flex my average draft round. Let's see what else we got here. Do you want to, Tim, bring up the trades and anything that sticks out to you while I shuffle around the drafts here? The
yes, that I can do. I mean, maybe I will start with myself because it's easiest. It's on my brain. So throughout the season, and I just tried to 1 week at a time, try to prioritize my biggest assets and work my way down. But yes, throughout the full trade season, I traded away AJ Brown for a second to Nog, and then I traded away Michael Pittman and Justin Herbert for a third to the Squeezes. Then I traded away Kittle and Amari Cooper to Ford, who won't say anything about it despite being on this call. But the Deshaun Watson season ender is a problem for the Amari Cooper piece of that. But he's still got himself some Kittle who's doing work. And then we took it down to the very end with some literally we got to see the inner workings of a trade build live on one of these BAMS casts between you and I, where I was just like, I had given up hope that you were going to make any trade. So I was just more lamenting and I was going to go launching into this huge thing about pride of like how Groles is too prideful to try to make to try to just wave the white flag on the season and wants to still make a push and keep his playoff hopes alive. And that you are too prideful to not subject yourself to any trade activity. And then I was just going to sit on this. Then it opened the door to Stroud for a 6. So there we go. I have two 2s, 2 3s, 2 4s, and 2 6s for myself next year. That gets you at the top of the rankings here. But all of the complaining I did last week was about, like, I don't actually want people to trade. I want there to be an imbalance. I want to have the biggest advantage. But what we see here is that Gangbang, Grohl, Shasky, people got on the board. They got active in that last week and started making moves. So love to see the activity, but it did come in that final week stretch at the trade deadline. I could do more shit, but what do you got, Zach? Or can you not hear me? Okay, he tapped his ear.
I'll step in. I don't understand why Groley ended up making that trade with Zintak. Like, it was an interesting one considering, like, yeah, I was looking good against Diesel guys, like, right off the bat on Thursday, and then that came through. Like, I don't know. It was just, I thought it was interesting considering he just traded for Devontae and he's coming on big time. And granted, his knee went down at the 1 yard line, but he was right there again. So
are we talking about?
Oh yeah, Devontae's coming. He always comes on at the end of the year. AJ Brown ends up starting off early, and it's Devontae late. So Ben, I think you got a steal on it, in my opinion, to make a hard push.
I hope so, and I hope the firing of Matt Canada just whatever jump started Deontay Johnson. So we'll see. Who knows?
That helps as well too. Yeah, maybe Kenny Pickett who I held on to and I thought was going to have a great.
No, you didn't hold. No, you didn't hold on to him too long. He's doing good.
Oh my God, that guy can eat shit.
Well,
I lost my.
I was talking the tequila shots at the hotel during the draft were tasting really good, and everybody was talking about Pickett. That man can burn in hell.
Yeah,
he cost me a goddamn possible run.
I lost my sound and microphone, and I was afraid I was going to miss your take on what you thought on Olave and if you should have traded him or not. Are you happy you kept him?
Oh, absolutely. He's going to be a 4th rounder next year.
Okay.
So I couldn't get rid of him. Devontae I couldn't hold on to any longer, so I knew I had to ditch him. And for some reason, Christian Watson, he was injured early, which obviously happened late in the season. The guy has not played well, but also he's going to end up being like an 11th. Like, Jordan Love has to come around. That offense has to come around at some point. So still got faith. It was just, it didn't work out at all with my wides this year, and thought I was set up perfect. And then Bijan gets an illness and doesn't want to play a week. And what? Like, it has not gone well this year.
All right. I'm gonna slip in here with a quick trade stat, a BAMS trade stat. While I do that, Tim or Shay, come up with another trade that we'll discuss. But I'm gonna.
Well, I will say that Shay referenced, like, I don't know why the commission Puka made that trade. Let's just talk about the specifics of that trade. That was the commish trading away Nico Collins and Chris Godwin.
Yeah, I don't know the whole the keepers on that. So I know Devontae obviously can't be kept, but I don't know on the other ones.
Nico Collins is a good keeper. He's I think 11th round next year.
Okay.
I'm not confident in him in the rest of the season. And initially it was a Devontae Nico type situation. And actually that's what it ended up being. Oh no, Deontay was in that too. Depending on the rounds that I had available to trade, and I don't remember the details, but yeah, it was I was leaning on Nico's draft position, and I've always been high on Devontae. I was high on Devontae in the draft. Him being the wide receiver 1 the last month of last year really had me high on him going into the season. So yeah, I wanted him. Again, like I said, Godwin, Jacoby Myers. I have no wide receivers on the bench. Nico Collins has been 50-50 at best throughout the season. Tank Dell coming on, didn't want him. I know he's a good keeper, so jumped at Devontae Smith. So we will see. That's kind of the impetus of that.
Yeah, I think you look at Nico, that'll be super interesting next year. I think the Texans probably will be buyers in the wide receiver market. I could see them getting T. Higgins, which would be a pretty nasty team of like T. Higgins, Nico Collins, Tank Dell. Godwin is just, he's been blah all year, and he is a regression. Like you keep hearing positive regression. It's just like, no, maybe he's just a blah player. So I get that. Deontay Johnson's kind of been in that similar bucket of just lots of opportunities, but nothing explosive. I think, as you said, I think that is buying him at the right time, coming off of injury after firing Matt Canada. That should be solid. And then the Devontae Smith, who's just had a slow start to the year. Shasky hit on it as well. Like they could be opening up more stuff for him in the back half of the year. So I think it's got the mixings of commish buying at the right time, and Puka getting a nice keeper option, and Nico Collins in a Texans offense that should continue to rise. But this does include commish giving away the 4th rounder, which, as we said, had a little bit of that snake bitten nature there of next thing you know, commish has traded away a 4th and a 6th, and that is why he's low in the and a 5th. That is why
I think I did trade a 5th for Godwin.
And that's a thing where things get confusing of how like Shea traded for Devontae or Shea traded away Devontae to Puka traded away Devontae to you. So a couple of swinging the ball around the arc there.
Shea, off the top of your head, do you know what you got for Devontae?
Yeah, I traded Devontae and Bijan for a 3rd.
Okay.
So basically Growly packaged it for a 4th.
Yeah. Okay. I like that. I don't feel too bad.
So yeah, like I said, yeah. No, I was just surprised he wanted to get rid of him that quick, because I think I was saying in the text, Devontae Smith comes on last quarter of the season. Like
he's having the most volatile season, I think, mentally for a BAMS owner. He was high last week. Mark Andrews hurt on Thursday. Sell. Things work out in his favor where he's back in the playoff hunt, and he's lost all these players after the Monday Night Football. He traded away Gibbs. I didn't even realize that until I was looking at trades. Really quick though, guys. Like I said, good trade season. 17 trades this year and last year. You think it's the peak?
I think there is a finite limit on like there's trade fatigue, there's limited opportunity. So like it's that combination of you would really need, and actually I think it can be beat next year because basically I felt like I was extraordinarily aggressive to get 4 trades off. And here's what I think could possibly happen next year is that some of these teams that have sold this year, a lot of them are extremely active. And I think if things flip and they're towards the bottom next year, you're going to have a higher concentration of teams that are towards the bottom that are going to be more aggressive about selling. So you just could have a higher composition of sell teams next year who are all very, very active and looking to work the phones with 4 or 5 weeks before the trade deadline. So that is a number I think can be beat, but I can't see us getting above 20. And I'm specifically mentioning like Marianne's hammocks, for instance. If you swap that out with a different team, that's going to be more wheeling and dealing. That's where that number can get above 17.
Do we have the stats of like how many people were kept this year that are going to be off? You know, that'll be available, because I feel like this last draft, it was just like so many people, like good players that were projected to be good, like for the first year they're looking to be kept again. Like
I don't know.
that,
No,
it
I know what
definitely
you're saying.
plays a role into it. Like I feel like there's been a lot of shit play in the NFL this year. Like
No, I know
I
what
feel
you're
like
saying.
next year there might be a lot more trades.
Yeah, no, I agree. I know what you're saying. I don't know how the keepers look this year, but that is a tab in here that hasn't been updated about who's all been capped and all that. So, something
I mean,
definitely get done though.
yeah, it was like, yeah, I
Um,
think it definitely will play a factor. Like I said, I don't know how many. I feel like most of the good rookies were taken in the first 2 rounds. Like you're not even going to keep them at this point. Like the trade value wasn't there. Like,
yeah,
maybe next year's draft will produce some people like drafting them much later.
could be.
Yeah, I'm
And then
with you
can
of like
trade,
it's
which I think.
it's a little evidenced by the Grohl situation where Grohl's had like all those picks in a zone that theoretically should have landed him so many high profile players, and like those types of like second round, third round, fourth round. I obviously don't want that repeat next year with the amount of picks I have, but I'm with you of like these kind of premium dudes that you would want to keep in the third, the second, the fourth. It was kind of a dead zone from the draft this year. So I'm with you that there might not be as many like premium keepers in like those top 5 rounds for next year.
Yeah.
I'm looking at what do you think was the
there we
most
go,
lopsided
Zintech. This is what we needed.
Yeah, what do you think's the most lopsided trade here?
With 7 minutes to go,
That's it?
I don't think there's a lot left. Okay.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about that. Like, what's the highest profile? I think, and this is hindsight's 2020. Like, I do think the Cooper Cup trade for Fiana was like,
Yeah, that was
the killer trade of the year. And what's funny is that it didn't matter to Derek's rad team, because they're in second place right now. But that was very, very interesting that because that was a third rounder that Fiana got for Cooper.
Yeah, Fiana got third round, gave away a fifth. Actually, I mean that kind of
Oh, all right. It's not
it
that
was
crazy.
No, it's not crazy. But yeah,
in my head, I was thinking like a first round draft talent that you trade away, and then you go on this win streak. And Cooper Cup does very little after you trade him. And it was like the perfect time to trade him. So that was what was in my head. I think Josh Jacobs is doing what Diesel guys needed him to do.
Yeah, I like that trade.
So that was solid. AJ Brown for the Nog. Keeps getting 120 yards a game. This most recently, though, we'll see if he tanks in the second half of the year and it becomes a Devontae Smith show, then that is a clear losing trade.
Mm-hmm.
If he does what he was doing in the first half of the year, he's like a first round keeper next year. He's like a top 6 pick. So we will see how it continues out. I'm saying I drafted him in the second round, and you could keep him in the first round if you wanted to. If he did what he did in the first half of the year, he was like 125 and a touchdown every single week. It's ridiculous.
Here's what I think the biggest win is: the last trade of the season. Jahmyr Gibbs for a third rounder in 11th. Gibbs going for anything below a second is crazy. He's been a top 3 running back for the last month.
Dude, he's probably going to be the top 3 pick next year.
Yeah. And he went for a third rounder in 11th was the swap, but still. The fact that Nog didn't have to give up anything better than a 3.
Yeah.
I didn't like that out of Growley.
And that's like, I didn't even think about this, but I love this poll. I've been like this is what happens when you're a seller, is that you're not paying as close of attention to all the trades that are happening. The fact that he gets that in at the buzzer, that's a nice trade. In what we talked about of like Montgomery comes back and Gibbs and Montgomery score very similar points in their return back, and everyone puts in their head, oh, 50-50 split. Now it's back to 50-50. And we talked about it. It was like, no, it was Montgomery busted out a huge run for a touchdown. And then this week it really showed up of like, it's the Gibbs show, and Montgomery is taking a back seat. So with that information at hand, I'm with you. Also, though, this is a little bit of how this goes, is like, the later you look to sell, the less people have to give. And I think that gives the Nog some leverage to just be like, I already traded away my second for AJ Brown. So no, I'm not giving you a first. I don't have a second to give you. So it's a third. And if you are Groles at the last hour trying to get this trade through, you're like, well, if I don't trade this at all, I won't get anything for this guy, and I can't keep him. So you have me by the balls, and here you go.
He also wanted to get his third back because he gave it to me.
So it was more of just like a good feeling to have that third. I get it.
Yeah.
And Tim, I was putting together that spreadsheet of what everyone has, the trade deadline, and I noticed you got yourself a second, you got yourself a third, you got yourself a fourth, and you got yourself a sixth. A nice consistent, like 2 picks around after the second. So well done. That's a good feeling.
It does feel good. And also I am turning into a Nog cheerleader this year too, because the better he does, likely the later his pick will be. So if I could catch him on the horseshoe and get a high second round pick off of the Nog, so I have to root for that guy.
Shay, do you always sit on your computer with the lights off in your bedroom, or is this just like a
No, it's dark.
The sun went down.
Right. Hey,
Yeah, no, sun went down. I'm getting ready for a cigarette to be outside.
I love it.
With the Christmas decorations already up.
I love it. Well,
Tim, don't start winning, because if I'm starting to win, like, I'm gonna have to start benching my entire goddamn team so I can get 24 red balls here, man. Like,
I have a moral code that I don't think we've quite enforced, but I'm like, I will always field a full team. I'm trying to put the best players that I have every week. But yeah,
I know it's scaring me right now because I'm playing tranny, and like, I'm favored to win big, and I don't want to, because then we're tied going in last 2 weeks.
We will see how it goes. There was a floated idea that we talked about on the Twitter Spaces or the X Spaces, but of changing up that you got to keep competing in that consolation bracket. I still think that's a good idea that I'm very open to. But
which may cut into, not to interrupt you, but to interrupt you, which may cut into future. We were talking about how many trades.
True.
If we implement that, downfall.
I'm with you.
But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
All to say, I'm going to try to keep winning. The problem is every team I play, it doesn't matter if they're the 11th team, the 10th team, 12th team, they're going to score 130 against me every single week. So there's nothing I can do. I'm going to keep trying to field a good team. It's beginning to matter less and less, though. So there you go.
Yeah. Feel free to win this week. Play spoiler.
Well,
that's what I'm trying to do.
I gotta say, guys, the league's in a healthy spot.
Yes.
You look here, moves by year. We're upward trend, more moves every year. I got everything per guy. You can see who's making. I'm making an unnecessary amount of moves, but Groley, Tim, where you at? I think you're pretty low, Shay. Yeah.
I am pretty low, yeah. I don't trade that much. I usually don't.
No, I mean waivers too. But you look, Tim, upward trend, good. You know, we also did this because we want to forecast potential people leaving the league and just, being ahead of that. You got guys like Rowley who trend down, Russell trending down in his moves. So we're just trying to be as forward looking as possible as BAMS, always getting better. And frankly, I just wanted to address it because I spent more than 5 minutes on it. So what else we got? Ford. From
the cloud.
There he is.
2 minutes left. Here comes Ford.
Ford.
Okay.
You want You want
What's up?
to share your sentiments about just the league and where everything's? Oh, he left. Oh, he's back.
And how much cash you've won?
What? No. I think it's been going well. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Did you happen to?
Sorry for the late.
No, that's okay. We're not calling a league. I can't confirm or deny that people were requesting to just call the league and and compete for second. But where are you at right now? In a quick, 20, 30 seconds. We don't know how much we have left, but can we get a pulse?
No,
check?
I'm down in Atlanta right now with the family.
Are you
Thanksgiving. So
are you running tomorrow? No, come on.
I'm out of
That's my
shape,
guy.
bro. No,
All right.
Wait, who is running? Used in tech?
no. It's a
No, we're
usual
talking
thing.
about a turkey. We're talking about